of that up here. The completed date is left open. It's an open contact. It means you have to complete it. And so when you send your personalized letter, which is what the open contact is telling you to do, you'll go in and you'll put the date that you sent your letter. In the contact notes for your open contacts, the ask that's also listed on that hard copy list is inserted in here. So you can look in here, you can look on your list, but as we'll go in for an example in a bit, it's really helpful to come in here because then you can kind of get a sense of why we made that ask. Is it a renewal? Is it a thank you because they just gave recently, so you'll want to know what they gave to recently? Okay, so when you send your letter, you can check here for the ask, and then after you've finished that and dropped it in the mail, you'll mark it completed. This is how we know that it's done, and then we don't have to be calling you and saying, Kathy, have you sent your notes yet? Kathy, have you sent your notes yet? Okay? Any more questions about contacts?
Will you plant research?
Yes. So research is another type of contact that you can put in. So maybe you Googled your person and you found an article or you found some more information that you want to note that you want us to have note of as well. You can drop that in as a research. Maybe you want to drop a link in there to an online article, or you can just put the actual note itself in.
Where does that drop in? Under contacts?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So if you want to add a brand new contact, that's in the top left-hand corner, the Add button. So if you click that, the things that you will select are the activities. So this is the type of interaction, and that might be research. Maybe I Googled Victor and I found an article that I wanted to note. The assigned to drop-down is you. So you can find your name on that list. The date that you completed it. So if that was today, you can just select that on the calendar. And the contact notes, you'll drop in the notes for what that was. And then you'll save it, and it'll show up in your list. So there is a new contact there that I completed on the 7th. Anything else?
Open contacts will always rise to the top, is that right?
It depends how you have it sorted.
Okay.
If you don't choose a way to sort it, they will come to the top. But you are able to switch things around. So if you want to look at the oldest contacts, you can reverse that. Right?
You guys are catching on very quickly. We didn't think we'd be this far.
Staff are the only ones asking questions.
These are the questions you should be asking.
Yeah.
Well,
So are there any?
You screwed it for us.
Are there any parts of that seem the most confusing? We're all comfortable with keeping track of our contacts, dropping those in? Okay.
We're ahead of schedule right now. Do people want to take a minute to look around in the people who've been assigned to them, their profiles, and see if there's some specific questions? Go for it, Heidi.
I cheated a little bit. I did that. So I had one individual, for instance, who they asked us for 500, but most recently it was 1,000 that unsolicited. I'm just wondering.
It might have to do with the date of their gift, their $1,000 gift. If it was in February, then we didn't want to ask too much in one calendar year.
Oh, no, that was the last appeal. Okay.
Yeah, so we're often looking at their calendar year giving, and if we knew, I'd look at that person again, but we don't want to, this year we're really trying to renew or grow slightly.
What is your fiscal year?
Fiscal year is July 1 through June 30.
The completed date, you said that the only thing we can edit and add to is contact notes, correct?
For the most part, yes. Mm-hmm.
But we are adding completed date once we send the letter?
Yeah, so that's in the contacts tab. So that's one of those things that you
Oh.
have access to edit.
Okay.
Curious side question, but are we on anybody else's list? I mean, am I on somebody's list, or am I simply assumed?
I have to tell you.
And he's gonna work
and
hard.
I'm gonna work it, baby.
Okay. So can I request him?
You are on someone's list, probably
Most of
Melene's.
this room is in mine. On mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a request to get there.
And if you have any specific questions about what an ask might be, feel free to reach out to us about why. That's a good question too.
Yeah, in a few situations you may find the ask you're surprised by, so do ask, because you might know something we don't, or we might know something you don't, and we'll be happy to exchange that info.
I know this is obviously like a retention exercise. Is there, do we have this? I know we can only edit the contacts tabs, but do we have any ability to like upload a new contact for our own purposes, where we can kind of see and keep track of a new, obviously, would be a new donor?
Right, I don't, can they add new prospects?
No.
But if you email us, we can easily add that in, and we can link them to you, or we can even make you the solicitor. Either of those options.
So what is recurring gift, and it's going through, let's say, monthly, are we still asking for something additional? Or?
It depends. Some monthly donors were asking for an increase, and so your ask will say from $100 to $125 a month. Others will just say thanks. You know, one major donor who's a monthly donor we know took a very serious job change, and so we're not going to change the ask. We're just grateful that they've continued to make Refugee One a priority. So it'll vary.
I've got the gala question mark again. Was an invitation to the gala. Do we have a date for the gala?
We do. The date of the gala is May 5th, 2018 at the Radisson Blue.
It's in the newsletter too.
Yes.
And in the writing pitch templates that we'll get to later.
Okay, that's fine.
Murray had a question.
Again, where do I see again what, like in this particular case, under record type soft credit? How do I pull
Great
that up to see what that is?
question.
That is a good question. So a soft credit is if someone gives via maybe an individual foundation, the donor receipt, we put that in as somebody else's gift, but that person gets the soft credit. And so you'll see, this is easier to maybe explain if we're looking at what kind of gift it is.
There you go. So we should have thought to put one in there. I didn't even think of that. Soft credit you'll see fairly often actually as the way a donor gave a gift, because a lot of these major donors give through a foundation or a personal charitable trust. And so if you have one of those open, there's a little in that empty box. There's a little green paperclip or something.
I think it's like a link.
And you can click on it, hover over it, and it'll show the name of that foundation, Schwab Charitable Trust, or the such and such family foundation, where they're a trustee. So that's how you'll know who actually got the tax receipt for the gift, but it was initiated by the donor that you're connected to.
There it is.
Has anyone here used Donor Perfect before? Kathy has as a volunteer, yes.
Of course.
This is new for everyone.
It's great.
It's a nifty tool.
It's also super affordable.
Is it?
Yeah, this is a good database. It's not the Cadillac, but it works really well.
Okay. Let's move on to the next tab in your binder. Tab number 3. You'll find templates for writing pitches. So we're going to be talking about, you can turn off the light. We're going to be talking about, so you're writing your personalized letter on your notepad. So you're thinking, what am I going to write? We've provided a little bit of a template for you. And so you can mix and match a little bit of what we've provided. You can also, if you know something that we don't know, or you want to discuss another involvement that somebody has, you don't have to use these exact templates. But this is kind of a good skeleton for you to work with. We have 3 parts that we've kind of introduced. A general framework, kind of an introduction, then the ask that we want you to give, and then a closing. And so you can see in part 1, the general framework, we've kind of given you 2 options that we've scripted. One is a very general overview of thanks for being one of our biggest supporters. And you're kind of talking about the things that we've accomplished this year, and we can't do it without your help. That's that kind of introduction. And then we also have an advocacy Trump era kind of introduction. So you can give this to someone that you know is more politically driven for their involvement. Maybe they gave a gift this year at the post-election appeal. You can look in their gift list and see an example. Like, so the solicitation will say post-election appeal. And so you know that that's what motivated this person to give. Maybe you'll start with this introduction instead. So you can kind of choose that. Part 2 is the ask. So there are 5 types of asks that we have crafted for each individual. 2 of them have to do with actually making a monetary ask. 3 of them are more of a thank you if somebody's given recently. So the 2 types of monetary asks that we have are a renewal or an increased amount. The asks that we've provided, it doesn't say if it's just a renewal or an increased amount. That's something that you will have to look at. So if I go into the open contact on an individual, and their ask is thanks, okay, this one is a gala. But if the ask was $1,000, then I could go back to the gifts tab and look, is that a renewal or is that an increased amount? Did they give $1,000 at year end last year, and so I'm asking them to match that gift this year? Or maybe they gave $500 and we're asking them to up it to $1,000. So you'll kind of have to get a sense, is that a renewal or an increase in the ask? The second type of ask is a thank you. So this might be a thank you for someone who's supported a co-sponsorship, for someone that's given a general gift, or for someone that gives at the gala specifically and we want to invite them to the gala. So do those 5 types of asks make sense? Great. And so yeah, so you look in your open contact, you'll figure out what the ask is, and then you can get a sense of why we made that ask in the list of gifts.
Is there a gala ask for somebody that